Writers Encouragement Show time. How are you? Hi, Lisa. Nice to see you guys again. Nicole. Oh gosh, we got some new faces in here. Okay, so Writers Encouragement time. And so it's not just writers. Hi, Joy. It's every one of us who's on a creative journey. And there's my Sherry friend. Some other new faces. Well, how about this? Another day at it, right, guys? Another day at it. So, let's do this thing, right? Wendy, it's so good to see you. It's been such a time. How are you? Hopefully all is well in your world. Okay, so I'm a little distracted. I saw some new faces. So let me do the routine. Let me run through my real introduction real quick, and then we'll get started. Cara Grandle here. I'm a novelist, historical Christian fiction, and I am not published yet. I have an agent. I'm on the journey towards publication. I would like to be traditionally published, although we have a lot of folks in here that are aiming for all kinds of goals, and including writing, self-published, independent, all that. But we got songwriters, we have artists, we have poets, there's woodworkers and all kinds of people. So if you're creative and you're trying to carve out the time to do something, to actually even part-time business or blog, entrepreneur, all of that stuff is sort of all lumped in, where you actually have to push against life, but stay balanced without sacrificing your family for the goal, right? Isn't that what we all are trying to do? It has been too long. I've actually missed you. I've been watching for you lately just to see. Sometimes on here, if people disappear for too long, you wonder what the heck has happened in their life, and there's no way for it to know. So it's kind of crazy. So Writers Encouragement today. I did my interview yesterday with the publicist that we're going to have on the show on the 21st, and let me just tell you, it doesn't matter which one of you, which area you need the encouragement in. It's an amazing cons behind a publicist's job. I didn't even know what one did, really. I had to ask. I had to show her my ignorance. But I'll just say it's very, very encouraging. So I hope everybody can get that on the 21st. And if you didn't catch the replay, I had to delete it because I let slip stuff that she hasn't quite asked for yet, for permission on. So I had to delete it. So hopefully you got it yesterday and got it last night. There was, I don't know, 35 of us that watched it, and then I had to delete it off. But I also scoped yesterday because I had a milestone. I am done officially from teaching at my kids' high school. I was very part-time, so and I taught in the Spanish department. But I'm looking forward to getting not just the time, little bit of time back, but the brain space. So you guys know what brain space I'm talking about? I think it was Lisa. You were one of the first times. Lisa, have you been in here before? Do I know you? And am I just losing track that I know you? And if you are, and you're a writer, remind me of what you do. So new, okay, I didn't think so. So Lisa, this is what I try to do. I try to keep track of everybody, and it's a mess. Let me tell you, I've embarrassed myself a million times over. It's like being the new kid in school, and you guys get one name to learn, and I get 500. And then on top of that, I can't see your faces, so I can't even see what you look like. So Lisa, tell me a little bit about yourself so I can cue in on my thing. Are you a writer by chance? Because that's what we do on here. We encourage the emotions and the mindset and the pace. Being a creative on any sort requires a long-term perspective, and sometimes we push hard and sprint and get out of breath and get tired and need to be scooped back up and reminded that it's a marathon pace. So so that's what we're doing. So Wendy, how's your projects going? What are you up to? So on this show, during this time slot, I'm pretty regular. I do a Writer's Encouragement show, and I often do interviews and author interviews, and now a publicist interview, and who knows, we'll get agents and editors and magazines and stuff like that. And connections, there's lots of opportunities and connections that pop out. And there's my Stephanie friend, very cool. So, but I want to tell you guys a story today. This is just me today. You get just the raw Cara package, and I'm going to tell you a story, the one that's made me think of my writing world today. And then we'll hit all of our Next Right Things. So Next Right Things is where it's at. Well, actually, I just realized I have two stories. Okay, so you guys who are in Author for the Author, inside the Facebook group that I the behind the scenes, our group, Author for the Author. You guys saw me do that live Facebook video on my brother-in-law, Nathan, who's getting ready to start the voiceover job, right? Heart me up if you actually saw it. Because if you haven't, I'll tell you from the beginning real fast. Did anybody see that on there? Very happy for him. Yes. Okay. So I talked with him last night, and he can't ever come on the show because he works at an opposite schedule timeline. And there's my mom too. How cool is that? But he is. I talked with him last night on his schedule and found out that he has 2 more things to do. He has to get a tool, 1 more piece of equipment, and he has to do some homework on this one thing. And then he is ready to actually go live and make contracts. Journal to keep myself on track. I'm a senior citizen still working from home. Awesome. Well, we love our senior citizens around here. You just ask my mama who comes in here. We collect people. They're our favorite because they know things. Declutter feels so good. Oh, 2 blog posts this week. Sweet. What do you do for work from home, Lisa? And Sir Wonderful Edgar in the house. He's nothing but a cheerleader for us, so we like him too. How are you, Edgar? I swear I'm going to stick your name in one of my books one of these days, and it'll be forever immortalized. Computer analyst. Oh, goodness. So there's nothing senior citizen about that. Computer analyst. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, nice. You gonna take that? I'll make sure if I do that, I'll put a caveat in there. I'll say something. I'll make a joke. That's what I'll do. Instead of giving you a thing, I'll make a hint at Sir Wonderful somewhere else in the book. Wouldn't that be something? If I could come up with an Edgar and call him Sir Wonderful somewhere in the book. Ideas. Okay, so let me tell you an update on my brother-in-law, because this is the show where we talk about the next right thing. And I know I'm going to catch a lot of you guys on the replay today because I've been on a lot the last couple days and everybody's had enough Cara. But next right thing isn't about setting a big old mountainous goal for yourself. It's literally the tiniest, littlest pieces so that they can add up to a whole. And my brother-in-law is very easily overwhelmed. He's very easily... Like if you portray what's coming in front of him all at once, then that mountain is too big and it's too scary and too intimidating and it seems like too much work. And he's the kind of guy who would rather just go away somewhere and take a nap and, watch TV or something like that. So he has been slowly doing these things one tiny piece at a time. And even when I ask him questions about what's next for him, I have to be careful because if I go too far ahead of him, then it chokes him out. Have you ever been there where you get choked out by dreaming too far down the road? So, but his next right thing, he's right there. Next week, he could actually have auditions out for real live voiceover options. And that's what this Author for the Author group is about. It's actually about seeing people go from a dream to a reality. Even if the reality isn't publication like what I want, it's holding yourself accountable. Lisa, are you a journal every day person? Or are you journal here and there? How about you, Joy? You're in here. And Sherry, are you doing the things that you want to, little Miss Sewer? I know that you're just a fly on the wall in here most of the time, but let me ask you. And Mom, are you prepared to answer what your next right thing is when we get to the end? Every day, look at that. Oh, Joy, I just addressed a question to you, and now you're jumping back in. I just wanted to know if you were getting the things done that you wanted to get done, if you actually can look at it and say, working on it. Okay, so let me tell you a story. Mom, this is a story you may have heard me say before, so grace on that. And it's a hunting story. You're filling plot holes. Okay, Vonnie, it's a steady game for a lifetime, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to tell a hunting story, so I hope I don't lose an audience right there, because I know it's not PC to talk hunting these days, but we are a hunting family. We do it all legally, and it's all awesome, and it's all a good thing for our family. Multiple generations, and so much goodness comes out of it. But this story is from my research. It's actually from 1884, okay? And then I'm going to turn it around, because this is where I was actually thinking about my writing group, you guys, and myself today. And it's something, all of this triggered off of something the publicist said to me last night in the Periscope. So I have to bring my blog post to people who would. Yay. I will be I think you said you had one. I haven't listened to it yet, right? Did you do your first one? I think it's you, right? Did you do your first one, Joy? Was that you? I got to rewatch. Oh, I hope I didn't delete that one. I hope I didn't delete the one that said the person had their first one. Yeah, you did. Okay, great. I'll be watching. You watch. You'll be able to see me on the replay. I'll get there. It'll take me a little bit, but I'll get there. Okay, so here's the story. Okay, there's two guys named Hunters, and one's name's Hiram, and the other's name is Alan. So it's Hi and Al. That's what they were called each other. But Alan was actually a dentist. A dentist in 1884 usually had a nickname. They were usually called Bones or Murder or something like that because they were not a pleasant experience. You know, 1884 dentistry was not all it's cracked up to be, okay? So his nickname was Murder. So it's Murder is the one telling the story, and it's actually an actual account. It's like a newspaper thing. And Al was a trapper who had been up in the woods for half of his life. He had had all of the experiences and some. So it's hunting experience. So he was taking the one guy out and they were doing hunting together. They were both experienced, but one of them more so, right? Okay, so they go out hunting and they're tracking through the snow and they're doing their thing. And they actually come across the bear tracks. And for two guys who have that much experience to note in a article that they were the biggest tracks they'd ever seen, that at first they didn't think they were tracks because they looked like a sack of a coffee sack filled with rocks stamped in the snow because it was so big. So of course, hunters that they are, the real brainy thing to do, they chase down this big bear. Hi, Tiffany. And so they go on the trail and they get around and they're following the steps because it's in the snow, so they can track it pretty easy. And they go around and there's this some trees that are coming up like in a little thicket, but it's not too big. They can actually walk around it and see that the bear tracks went into it and never came out. So the bear was inside the bushes. The bear was inside the bushes, and what did they do? Well, first of all, the dentist, Hiram, he gets down on his belly, on his hands and knees and bellies, and he climbs down into where the trail of footprints went down into where the bear was. And he has his gun with him and he's doing his thing, and he gets down there and he says in the story, it says that he got halfway and he heard a growl from inside there, this big growl. And he said he knew at that moment that it was way too big for his little britches. And so he backed up as fast as he could and he got out of there. He's like, I'm done. Well, Mr. Hiram, okay, so I got to tell you a little bit about Hiram. Hiram, the guy who'd been up in the mountains for half of his life, he actually had a disability. He had a 1 foot shorter than the other, one leg shorter than the other. So he had a limp. So when he walked, he did this, like a chair leg with the table that would kind of thump womp. He kind of did that just the way he did it his whole life. And he had and then he had a set of buckskins that he wore that were so well used that when he took them off at night and he leaned them against the tree, they stayed standing up because they had so much use and so much put into them. And so he was stiff. So his clothing was stiff, but it was well used, buckskin. And then he had this little wonky step. Okay. So it's his turn. He's the experienced hunter. He's like, this is just a bear. I'm going to go in there and do my thing. So he climbs down in the hole, climbs down in where the bear is, and he has his gun with him. Okay, so here's the hunting part. So hopefully you guys can be hunters with me for this minute. So he heard the bear, stayed tight. He could tell the bear was moving and starting to come out. Stayed tight. Here comes the bear again. So then he can kind of see the bear. So he gets his gun up and he takes the first shot. He can tell he hits the bear, but it doesn't kill the bear. Then the bear starts coming at him some more, and he goes to shoot a second round. And of course, his gun jams. So he backpedals out of there as fast as the Lord and nature let him. He's going backwards like this, and then the bear's coming after him. So he's running away from the bear, and his buddy, Murder, is standing back there. The dentist is standing back there watching this whole thing take place. Here comes the guy, here comes the bear, and it's the biggest bear, these guys said. At the end, they did the guy thing where they told out how big this bear is and how massive it was. But they get on there, and so the guy's running away, and he's running, and the guy who has the gun now that's working, which is his friend, Murder, he's watching, he said, and he wanted to laugh because it was almost comical, but because he said that his friend with his leg, with his disability, was swinging. And so the bear would go to get him on one side, and then he would bob back to the other side because he was running as fast as he could. And he's bobbing and weaving like this back and forth. And that's what was saving his life. And then he went climbing up this shell rock. I know, can't hunt, poor bear. Yeah, I know, hunting story, but it's still part of this. This is history, 1884, okay? So he's climbing up the shell rock, and the shell starts sliding down, and the buddy, he's like, murder, save me. That's the guy's yelling at his friend, whose nickname is Murder, which is kind of funny all by itself. And the guy actually does. He shoots the bear and saves him, but before the bear dies all the way, he swipes Hiram, the hunter, and he swirls through the air and then lands on the ground. So then so the whole point of this was an actual tale of hunting woe, that kind of thing. But it took the guy like 30 minutes to recover. He's laying on the ground and he's out flat, and it altered his thinking for the rest of his life and changed him as a man. This whole story is based off of that. So why on earth would I think of that story that I came across inside my research and relate it to you guys, to our Author for the Author group, to us on this creative journey, and tailed off of this publicist interview that I had last night? Well, here's why. One of the things that the publicist lady said is that everybody's aiming towards this whole thing called platform and to get their word out and all this. They go, but everybody's being told to do the same thing. You got to have your website, you got to have your blog, you got to do this, you got to tweet, you got to Pinterest, you got to da-da-da-da-da. I mean, have you guys heard that? Heart me if you've heard that and it matters to you. But she said the prize is actually being you, is being individual. And that is this guy, the guy who was he had experience. He knew his craft. He was a hunter in the hills for half of his life. But in the end, what saved his life was being him. If he was an upright man without his disabilities, because how many of you guys sometimes think of yourself as coming up short and having a disability in this land of getting known and publication, right? But his wonkiness, Vonnie, our individuality, our uniqueness is what makes this game ours. It's what makes it ours. I mean, isn't that just refreshing to hear? Even if we have a limp in our step, even if we twitch side to side like this and we wonk back and forth, that is what will save our lives in the end. So there was point one. We're going into the next right thing by the end of this thing, but I just want to encourage you to continue to find out who you are inside your craft, inside your blogs, inside your arts and crafts, inside of your arts and crafts seems so lighthearted compared to what we do, but you guys know what I mean. Inside your entrepreneur, inside your journal, Lisa, you're finding out who you are. And the only way to figure out who you are is as far as this outflow, usually we know ourselves pretty well, but the you think, yeah, what's your why? Perfect example. But the only way to find it, the only way to figure out how you want to go forward is to actually do it. Like my mom is new on Periscope and she's finding her way, but she can't find her way and make adjustments unless she takes the risks and does it. My brother-in-law, who's getting ready to do the voiceover thing, he has to actually do it and make some mistakes and practice. If he sits on the sidelines forever, then he doesn't get the reward either. He doesn't even get to say that that's what he's doing. So, I mean, just keep growing, keep learning, and keep practicing, because we'll just continue to fine-tune ourselves, fine-tune our craft, fine-tune our individuality as far as how we face things, and also figure out what other people value inside of us, right? So that was the first thing. And then the other thing is everybody needs a murder in their life, okay? Keep moving. Yes, I need to hear this. Oh, good, Stephanie. Everybody needs a pal named Murder, who's a dentist in the 1880s, right? Yeah, figuring it out. Okay, so what I mean by that is find your company. We are a mighty group inside our Author for the Author, 138 of us. And come join if you're interested. Please come join, because we are really, really benefiting each other. It's not a sales place. It's not a place where I'm pitching you guys. Place where we get to see things happen and continue to encourage the small pace, the practical pace. But on top of that, find your buddies around you, the ones that are real life flesh and blood, the people who love you. Find your people, find your hunting partner, because they might just save your life. You might find yourself going through an experience where you end up on your back on the ground, pasty white with fear, and you need somebody to come save your life. You might need somebody to shoot the enemies because you can't see them. They're hot on your trail. They're too big for you to take on yourself. Yay! Oh, awesome. See, that's super helpful. So find your company, find your company. Even if it's prayer, even if it's Bible study, even if it's, you know, a group of friends, a group of family members, whatever it is, find your company, because they might just save your life. And here's one last thing. Are you ready for one more? One more thing. I'm serious. I didn't actually think of this story to tell you guys. This was in my brain, and I thought, well, I was thinking, that's kind of a cool story. That's kind of a cool way of thinking about it. I wonder if I could use that somewhere. Oh yeah, I'm teaching class today. I'm teaching writer's encouragement. It would fit. So it was already in my head. But the last thing is, sometimes we've learned stuff, you know, Vonnie, you've been learning for so much longer than us. I always just want to give you kudos for that, because it's such a life pursuit for you. But sometimes we've been learning, the guy, like the hunter, he'd been at it for 20 or half of his life. Yes, there you go. Call her murder. That's right. Sigh and yeah. You know, there's both. There's both. Okay, so that guy, he'd been at it for half of his life, and the other guy was newer. He had some skills, but he was newer. There was two different levels of knowledge. And yet they took on the same bear. They took on something familiar that they thought they knew what they were going to experience. And with this writing journey, with the decision to be a creative, with the decision to be an entrepreneur or a blogger or whatever, we are deciding who we're going to be. We're deciding, we think we know what we're biting off. You know, I'm teaching these ACFW classes. I think I know what I'm biting off, but I haven't been there. I haven't met it. I don't really know. So every now and then you might just find that you have a grizzly bear by the toe. And this thing's a little bigger than you. Vonnie, is this grizzly bear writing bigger than what you imagined it would be? Has it made a bigger impact on your life? Has it been a bigger sacrifice? Has it created a bigger environment for you to enjoy with your friends? I mean, and that's what Periscope does for those of you guys who are getting ready to jump in. I mean, it's pretty much like having a tiger by the tail. I mean, I know that's a cliche phrase, but really, if I have said it, and I actually believe it, if I had known how much work I was getting into, I might have thought twice. And then again, I wouldn't have. Do you guys know that feeling? And then again, I wouldn't have, because I really, really love what I'm doing. It's like a Pandora's box, only good ways. Yep, tiger by the tail. So you guys know, I'm talking to the choir here. You guys totally know. So the cool thing that I can tell you about the publicist lady is that she has given us some books to give away. They'll be coming in the mail to me soon. She's going to help me see if I can orchestrate a new kind of giveaway where we use the shares. Like if you guys shared out this thing, it actually notifies me. I can see it on the replay. So that's how we would count the entrance. So you wouldn't have to go away to my Instagram. So that will be fun. And she's giving me some books to give away in tandem with Bold Turquoise with Mackenzie Monroe and Amy Weiler. So I'm real excited about that, because that's just our community, you know, the blessing of the entire community, not just myself. So that's really fun. So, and mark your calendars for that Tuesday, the 21st, because I can't even tell you, sometimes when we're used to doing these author interviews, we hear their story, we hear their journey, and then we get their nuggets and we get to dig a little into the scene behind the scenes and get some questions answered. But this is a publicist, and not many of us have an opportunity to do that with them, pick the brain. So that's pretty cool. So mark that calendar down. And now, can you guys tell me what your next right things are? We got 9 of you in here. I don't know who you all stick around for my whole story, but obviously Stephanie and Mom and Vonnie are still in here, and Lisa maybe, and Joy maybe. So will you guys let me know what you're up to? Where's your challenge? What's your next nitty gritty detail that you're going to work on that's like Nathan, that's going to put you one step closer to the end? Carve out 30 minutes to write. Take a deep breath. Enjoy that. Oh, there you are. Kathleen, you're in here too. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Canva, learn how to use Canva. That's a cool option for you guys. That's a program that makes it so you can make free graphics for your social media. Plot holes, the thumb drive that got lost. Oh, did you lose a thumb drive of information? Oh no, you had ideas in it or something for you? I missed that somewhere. You must have put it on your Facebook feed and then it didn't get fed to me or something. You know how I hate that. I wish that Facebook let you see everything. Clean up my categories on my website. Very big goal right there. Cleaning. You're just cleaning everywhere, aren't you, Wellness Wendy? You've been in a season of putting your life in order, and that's pretty inspiring. KonMari the kitchen. Yes. Got it. Do you love this spoon, Kathleen? Do you really, really love this spoon? That's gigantic and bent backwards because it's dished up too much ice cream. Does that help you? Does that inspire you to take on your kitchen? Finish my book I'm reading, Make My Happy Place a Little Brighter. Perfect. I need to rewrite my about page. Yes, okay. No, it's a character thumb drive that I forgot to keep in the plot. Oh, it plays a huge part. Okay. Well, that's easier than what I thought it would be. Been to Calmer everywhere. Okay. So, nothing related. Still getting other things handled. I'm more a fly on the wall while I decide. Only for a season, Tiffany. Only for a season. And then there's a day when then the shoe has to hit the pavement. Whether you'll ever write. Well, you think twice because it's the most rewarding thing I've done to date. I was even telling my husband last night, honey, I said, I'm not just grinding this out. I'm not just doing it because it looks like work to him. I said, I'm thriving. This is so fun for me. I said, there's work in it. It's stretched me intellectually beyond beyond what I knew I could even handle. It's changed my thinking and paradigm on so many levels, but I'm thriving. I love it. And it's the right fit for me. So make sure it's the right fit for you, Tiff, because it's a big enchilada to start eating on. Guys? Those of you who are already in it. Vonnie, blessings. Okay, so after I get off here, I'm going to post a next right thing. So what that means, Joy, it means that when you finish your About Me page, because that's what your next right thing was, then you can link drop it underneath the graphic. Anybody else who's doing something? I know, you think it's beyond you. But then there'll come a point where you think you might not be able to stop. Okay, I want to tell you a story. Tiffany, I'm going to tell you. When you think of writing a book, don't you think of smart people? Don't you think of people who know how to write a sentence without fragments and run-ons? Don't you think of people who are like the elite students in your school environment? Okay, I was a decent student. I got good grades, but I didn't read very much in high school. I didn't like it. I didn't start reading until my kids were little, and I had zero confidence in my grammar to the degree that before I ever decided to write, I made small decisions to try to like some people, if they get a GED instead of a high school diploma, they feel heavy about that and they have to go back and prove things to themselves. I had some proving to myself to do. I actually took on a classic reading list that was like the complete list of what you should be read, you should have read before you enter a normal college, a big college. And I read them all. And then I would go back to my high school English teacher who intimidated the heck out of me, who happens to be one of my editors now, and laid myself before her, and I had conversations with her about things I understood and didn't understood about the reading. Yeah, I think that would probably be more on the edit side if they actually still use humans. Oh yeah, they totally use humans. Almost all of it's humans. I mean, there's a lot of, no, the computer will never get that one all the way. Nope, you've got a place there. But, and all you have to do to actually be an editor is begin. There's no, I mean, you can go to school, you can have credentials, and that all helps, but really beginning is the big deal. But anyways, so I had to go through this whole process of confidence, and it was slow going for me. So I did not see myself, it took me a long time to even call myself a writer or an author. I feel like I've come into that in the last year or two, but even the first year or two when I actually had books finished, it was hard for me to admit that. Hi, Carrie. I told a great story at the beginning, a hunting story, if you can handle one, but it ended up being a perfect reflector on how we look at our group. But we're just getting ready to do the next right things. So I have to tell you guys my next right thing. Everybody just mentioned it. But I wouldn't mind hearing yours, Carrie, since we're towards the end. But so my next right thing is to finish the ACFW second teaching video class that I'm doing, which is about maybe 2/3, maybe a third, maybe half done. We'll call it half done. So I have a half of a job to do. And then I have my nonfiction piece that's going to go out to some beta readers. So I have a sampling that's going out so that I can get some feedback before I finish the rest. Oh, okay, perfect. Have fun in Montana. Hopefully that means you're surrounded by kiddos and grandkids, right? Super fun. Okay, and then I have to do laundry and clean my room. Wah, wah, wah. Normal life, right, guys? Normal life has to fit into the details of this journey we're taking. And, you know, the time is there. We just live when they always say, who is it that says, I know, Joyce Meyer, she says, I know exactly what you're doing with your time. Somebody says, I don't have enough time. I don't know where my time goes. I just can't get enough time. She goes, I know where your time is. I know exactly where your time is. Christology class when we hang out. Ah, Christology class. Okay, that's interesting. Toscalia, of course, I've read her. She has color summer books. Oh, yes. Okay, perfect. We might get her. We might get Toscalia and Lori Benton. Blanking last night. Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? Does that make you even more excited for that interview? Lori Benton will probably be first and as soon as we possibly can. And then Tosca will have to fit in later this summer. So that will be fun. Because Lori Benton has a book release, so I'd be helping her with her book launch, which will be fun. Okay, what was I saying to? Oh, I know where your time is. That was Joyce Meyer. I'm stealing a Joyce Meyer quote. I know where your time is. I know what you're doing. And she looks at the audience and she's like, you're doing exactly what you choose to do. So you're probably doing work. You're probably taking care of your family. And then you have something else that you do, whether it's TV, radio, book reading, entertainment. She goes, you're doing exactly what you're choosing to do. That's where your time is going. And that's where it gets to go. So if you don't like where your time is going, we get to change. Hello, Dawn. So that's kind of a hard truth that I actually like to be reminded of, because sometimes I feel like my time is just like fleeting out, but most of the time I'm chasing my kids around, and that's exactly what I want to be doing in this season of my life. It trumps all of this book goodness and all of my future goodness that's going to happen when my kids are up and out of my house. But it's the priority, so let's go for it. Okay, guys. So so I hope you liked the story. Can you guys handle that? Can I talk about hunting stories? Because I am a hunter. I try not to tell you guys often, but was that okay to tell a hunting story on Periscope? Did I shock any of you peace-loving, animal-friendly folk out there? Did I bite off more I could chew? But it's the end of the Periscope here. I'm going to pray over you guys and send you on your day. And I will put a graphic up for Next Right Thing, and I hope that you guys will use it to link drop and show me what you got done and take a picture. Those of you who are KonMariing and cleaning offices and kitchens and all that, will you just take a picture and post it inside the author for the author, because it counts. I have no intentions of taking pictures of my laundry room and posting it though. But let's just say it will be a massive before and after picture, okay? You're from Indiana, so you hunt. Okay, so I'm safe with joy. Whew. Okay. I didn't get a whole lot of hearts on that part. You know, talking hunting is such a dance, you know, with these days, like, oh my goodness, you know, but still it's part of this country girl out here. So it's part of my world. Your hubby is a hunter. Okay, so we got it. We got it. I figure Vonnie's from Alaska. She can handle it. She knows. She's got bears in her country. Okay, so I'm praying over you guys. So Lord, I just lift you. I just lift you. I just lift you. I just lift you, this whole group. I just lift you, this whole group. I just lift you, this group. I thank you, Lord, that you have their days numbered. The length of their days, what's in their days. You have Vonnie's future. You have her publication in mind. You have her end game. Lord, I speak that we wouldn't be weary in well-doing in Jesus' name. So I speak to weariness. That's what I'm speaking to right now. I just thank you grace and strength in this consistent steps. The consistent, well-rested steps in Jesus' name. So Lord, I just lift up these projects, the ones that we've named, and then the surprise projects that are going to happen to us, whether we like them or not this week. The go with the flow part of our life. Grace, and health. And I actually am going to speak health over this group. I thank you for sound sleep and good energy. Specifically health in Jesus' name. You guys know what you got there. I don't know what you got, but just know that your health has been lifted up and it's been made better, because when Jesus enters the situation, things can't be the same. My high school teacher, when I took a science class, Mrs. Lewandowski, one of my favorite concepts inside science was the chemical change versus another kind of change, I can't remember. Well, her analogy was if you take water and you put it on the stove and you boil it, that turns to steam. But if you catch the steam, oh, good, then the steam will turn back to water. So it can go from one form to ice, back to water, you know, it can go back and forth, and it's not changed. Yeah, no thanks to Hunting Beach, their own. That's right. And then, but then she used the analogy of hamburger. When you guys cook up your hamburger in your kitchen, it starts out raw, it's that, and then you cook it. And it's cooked hamburger that we can then eat, but you cannot turn it back into a raw hamburger. It doesn't go backwards. And I said all that to say that when we prayed just now, I know it seems silly because I'm just a voice on Periscope and I pray easily. Some people don't pray easily. But when I pray and I believe that Jesus comes into your health and into your resources and into your projects and into your thinking, then it's the chemical change. It alters the situation. It can't go back to the way it was before. It just can't. It's made better. It's made healthier. It's made easier. It's made with more grace and safety and protection in it. So grace to your situations, to your lives. Isn't that a great way to look at it? I just love that. So yes, it's okay. You don't have to be hunters. Caveat, I won't tell them every time, but that's what was in the Cara brain this morning. So there you go. Enjoy your people that you surround. Everybody needs a murder. Go get your murder alongside of you. Yeah, good, Dawn. Thank you. And if you got something in your life that makes you wonky, going like this, embrace it, because the Lord, whatever you've gone through, is for a reason. He's got a way to pull it out and bless other people, because He's all about people. So we'll see you guys on Author for the Author here in the future, all those good places, and have fun getting your things done. Let's do this. All right, guys. Bye.